hesitate to put any question in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Just as a reminder, we do have the Q&A open, and if you don't know what that looks like, take a look at your controls on your Zoom, and you're going to see the little Q&A. Go ahead and open that up and just drop any questions that you have whatsoever inside of there. We have a pretty small group joining us live, so if you can't find the Q&A, throw it into chat. We should be able to follow along there. Also, we'll kind of watch both here today since we have a pretty small group. If you do not have a CodeHS account, we encourage you to go ahead and sign up with codehs.com/signup, and you can ask for a teacher account. You can just make sure that you sign up for a teacher account, and once it gets verified, you will have access to all the teacher account stuff. If you want to just sit back and watch today, you're more than welcome to do that, or you can follow along with links. We'll be sharing some links throughout the webinar with you that you can look at as we talk about those. So if you do not have an account, go ahead and sign up, use a sign up. There's just a couple of questions on there. Just be sure you sign up as a teacher. So today, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be through this webinar discussing some best practices for pacing your Apcsa course. This is a back to school webinar. It is one for the beginning of the school year. Some of you have already started. I'm 100% sure of that. But you're pretty early in the year, and there's still some information about pacing that will be very helpful to you, and also keeping up with the important College Board information, which includes how to submit your course audit using our CodeHS syllabus. So if you're going to use CodeHS, you can just very simply go through the audit process by telling the College Board that you're going to use our syllabus. We're going to discuss what learning resources that we have and how you can utilize those to help students learn throughout the year. We'll then give you an overview of how the AP exam is structured in case you're not 100% sure about how that is. If you're pretty new, that's very helpful information going into the year, and the resources that are available to help students prepare for that exam. There's a number of resources that we're going to share throughout, and we're going to look at our resource hub, and we're going to be able to show you how you bookmark that so that you can get to all the links that you're going to need through that resource hub. So first of all, let's take a look at pacing your Apcsa course. Here are a few important dates for Apcsa. If you take a look at this, the Apcsa exam is the registration deadline, the student exam registration deadline is November 15th if you're holding a full year course. So students should register as early as possible, because what that does is it allows them to gain access to the AP classroom tools. It is, however, recommended that registration is completed by October 4th. So that's the date that you really kind of want to make sure that you get your students the exam registration completed. Additionally, March 15th is the student exam registration deadline for a spring semester course. So if you're only doing Apcsa in the spring, you are going to want to make sure that the students are registered for the exam by March 15th. Course audit deadline is January 31st. Well, this is the deadline for the course audit. If you've not taught the course before, you're not going to get access to AP Classroom or the secure materials until this is complete. So the College Board actually recommends completing this by the end of September. So if you haven't done that yet, you want to probably put that pretty high on your priority list so that you can get access to all the AP Classroom materials. And then finally, the Apcsa exam is on Wednesday, May 3rd of next year. So those are some important dates that you're going to want to be aware of. Now, the CodeHS course does follow the College Board sequence in our Apcsa Nitro course. So what I want to do is just kind of give you an overview of what those look like. I need to change my little things around here. Take a look at the schedule of the recommended pacing here. Our Nitro course has 10 units covering the content with 3 weeks at the end built in for the exam review. The number of weeks is actually based on 5 by 50-minute periods or meetings per week. So that kind of gives you an idea. So if you take a look, 2 weeks would be basically a 10-day, 50-minute type of a period. It's important to note that the unit numbers actually match the unit numbers found in the College Board using the AP Classroom. So it becomes seamless. So you'll see that Unit 1 is primitive type, Unit 1 also in AP Classroom. So you'll be able to use their resources by referring to the exact same unit number as what's on the College Board. Here we can see how the Nitro course that we offer separates learning objects into 3 different units so that using objects is introduced early. There's 2 different concepts: using objects late, introducing objects late, and introducing objects early. Our Nitro course actually follows the College Board sequencing. So we have an objects early type of a pacing here. So you can see that the using objects is introduced very early, then writing classes is introduced later in the unit, where inheritance is then being introduced near the end. This is where Nitro follows the College Board sequence. And notice that each of these specific topics on classes, which seems to be the area that students struggle with the most, right? So if you see that, you can see that we spend 3 weeks on each one of those particular units. Keep in mind that we do have an area at the bottom, 3 weeks at the bottom, to be able to use to work with the practice. Next, you can see that the basic programming concepts of variables, Boolean expressions, and decision structures and looping are early stages of the course prior to the students actually writing any classes. And then data structures of array lists, and 2D arrays are introduced after the students learn how to write classes. And then recursion is the last concept to be introduced to the students. As I said, the course does build in 3 weeks of AP test practice before the exam. Overall, it's really important to work backwards, have your plan working backwards. You want to allow plenty of time before the exam in May to review. And also, just to keep in mind that as you look at these, if you're on block schedule, you'll also want to cut these times in half. So it works a little bit different. Just kind of keep that in mind that these are based on 5 times 50 minutes. So if you're on block scheduling, you'll want to adjust accordingly. Each section of the syllabus has information on the units and the approximate pacing for each. And the pacing timelines are only approximations, and some units may go more quickly for you and your students, and others may actually be take a little bit longer. I want to bring you over to the course syllabus. And so if you get to the Nitro course and you get to your syllabus, you're going to see that the syllabus looks like this. And if you take a look at it, it gives an introduction and the overview and goals, your learning environment, what's expected from the College Board. But also what I want to show you is that it gives you the amount of time that each unit is going to take. So Unit 1, primitive types, is going to take around 2.5 weeks or 8 hours. And with this too, it gives you the topics that are covered, and it gives you an overview of what that is. Remember that Unit 1 in our course is going to match Unit 1 on AP Classroom. I want to point out too that as you look at the syllabus, you can also see that we show you when to introduce the labs and associated labs. So the College Board provides labs that you can use to help teach. It is not required that the students do those labs. Those labs are not tested over specifically, but it is a lab that is provided by the College Board. So you, if you don't know when to incorporate those labs into your curriculum, this syllabus is what's going to show you that, oh, okay, during Unit 4, we can introduce the consumer review lab. Then the students will already have everything that they need to know to be able to do that lab. And if you look on through, you'll also see when other labs, Magpie, would be appropriate for after Unit 6 or during Unit 6. So that's how our syllabus works. And that's how our we have the associated labs tied into it. Those labs are not incorporated into the course itself, but they're very easy to bring into your course. And I will show you that in a little bit of where those labs are, live on CodeHS. To get to the syllabus, what you can do is from your dashboard, from your teacher dashboard, on the left-hand side, if you'll go to resources, and when you go to resources, you're going to find a whole list of resources, and you are looking for syllabi. Once you go to syllabi, you're going to specifically say that you want the one or select the one for APCSA, Nitro, and that's what's going to bring you to this syllabus right here. That's how you can get to that syllabus. Okay, so we talked about the fact that it does give the pacing, how long it's going to take. You'll also notice that in CodeHS, we have two different APCSA courses. We have MOCA and we have Nitro. Nitro is the one that follows the the College Board sequence. MOCA does not. So MOCA actually introduces objects late. It introduces classes late. And so it doesn't follow the same sequence, but it does prepare the students for the APCSA exam. So really, it does align to the framework. It just doesn't go on the same sequence. Now, I do want to point out to you something to think about. When COVID hit, we did have a shortened year for the APCSA test, which meant that students did not get through the entire course before they were tested. The College Board did make adjustments for that. So what they did was they took their sequencing and they determined how far students should have gotten at that point in time. And that's what they tested students on. So if you choose to follow MOCA and something along the same lines happens, then your students may not have gotten to what they needed to get to for what they're going to be tested over. So that's just an example of why, if you're going to have APCSA and have the students take the test itself, Nitro is probably the best bet. I would say, I think that we've got 80% of our schools who are using our APCSA curriculum are using the Nitro course. So that is the one that does follow the AP sequencing. So let's look at submitting your course audit and how easy it is when you use your CodeHS to actually submit your course audit, because basically what you're going to do is you're going to tell, or you're going to submit our syllabus to be your syllabus, and you just say that you are using CodeHS. So in order to teach APCSA, your course must be authorized by the AP program. The only way to do that is by submitting an AP course audit. And since CodeHS is an endorsed provider, you can submit the CodeHS syllabus as your syllabus for the AP audit. Again, this year, if you're new APCSA teacher, or if you've never submitted a course syllabus for the course audit, then you are required to submit a course audit form. So CodeHS has a step-by-step guide by which you can fill out the audit, and it's accessible, and we have a link to that. So we're going to put the link into chat. So if you want to get our resource or the resource that shows you how to use CodeHS as your syllabus, that document right there that's in chat will take you step by step how to do that. Now, if you've previously submitted an audit, you don't have to submit a new audit. Your administrator can simply renew the course for you. Okay, Before we move on, just want to remind you that we do have the Q&A open. So if you have any questions as we work along here, don't hesitate to throw those into the Q&A, and one of the additional CodeHS members here will answer one of those questions. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at the learning resources CodeHS has available to help the learning process throughout the year. And I want you, if you can at all, make sure that you get this link. This is our APCSA hub. Everything that we have that has to do with APCSA can be linked from this hub. So this is kind of your go-to hub. And so if you click on that link, I'm going to go ahead and pop over here to our hub. I believe this is our hub. Yep. You will find that we have this awesome resource hub that will link to all the things that we have available. Now, all of these are shortcuts up here to some of the resources that we have, but this is not all of them. There's more throughout this whole document. That's just some quick links to some of the ones that we have put at the top so that you could get to them quickly. But I do want you to take the time to look through our resource hub. You can see that we do have our Java courses listed. So you can see that we've got the Nitro, the Mocha. We also have a non-AP Java course, which is just kind of a little introductory to Java, but it's not AP. It doesn't have the rigor of the AP CSA course. It also gives you tutorials that we have. We also have some practice problems. I'll show you that. We have some collaboration, and we'll talk about the question of the day a little bit. So there's all kinds of resources. I would encourage you to bookmark this page. This page has all the resources that we have available on CodeHS, curated all in one area, at least to be able to get to them in one area. And my computer is moving just a tad slow, so I'm going to come over here. All right. So the APCSA course requirements specify that there's a minimum of 20 hours of hands-on structured lab experience to engage students in individual or group problem solving. These lab experiences and activities should have computing and context at a significant level, and significant problem-solving components, and experiences working with programs involving multiple interactive classes and other object-oriented concepts as identified by the APCSA topic outline. So in other words, this is everything that the students should have when they go to hands-on. Students may solve brand new problems or modify existing problems to do these lab experiences. But just to let you know, completing either of our CodeHS APCSA courses, Mocha or Nitro, fulfills that lab hour requirements for the course, plus some. You get plenty of hands-on work with the courses that we provide. We do have an APCSA lab course for teachers that are interested in giving students additional lab hour practice. You can find that in our course catalog, and you can enroll students in that course, or if you want, you can actually take your APCSA course and include the labs directly into your course by customizing your course. And so that lab course, you'll want to make sure that you check that out. Our course catalog, if we could put that into chat, Lindsay, our course catalog, if you go to codehs.com/course/catalog, that will give you the whole list of all the courses. And then you can even filter that by, I'm going to go there real quickly. You can filter that by AP. I didn't do that well now, did I? And when you go to the course catalog, you can filter it by AP course right here, and this will give you all the AP courses that we have available. And you can find our lab courses available to you right here, AP Computer Science A Lab. So if you'd like to learn more about that, you can click on the Learn More, and that will show you all the labs. Now, what is included in that course are 6 College Board labs and 4 CodeHS labs. So you can incorporate either of these into your courses. And again, the syllabus will tell you which college board labs should be integrated in at what point of your curriculum. Just of note, the 11s uses abstract and interfaces, which is not in the scope of the APCSA exam anymore. And so that is one that would be an additional above and beyond, but your students would not really have a specific time to integrate that into the course. Another resource that we have is the question of the day. We launched a question of the day last year. Students who are enrolled in the APCSA course can go to these questions from the resources section. So if a student is in APCSA, on the left-hand side of their dashboard, they're going to see resources question of the day, and they can, the questions are available to anyone through the link, but you don't have to, and you don't have to be signed in. However, students who are signed in, they can actually track their streaks. How many days did they get that correct? If you go to that right now, that question of the day is actually going to show May's. We're going to begin September 5th, and it does move along with the curriculum. So the questions that are asked would not be questions that are further in the future as far as curriculum goes. It should be specific to, or at least up to the point of where they would be in the course at that point in time. We also have an FRQ Center, and for our FRQ Center, again, this is something that is available to every student, whether they are logged in or logged out. And you also have the ability to be able to assign FRQs. The FRQ Center basically houses all the individual free response questions from previous College Board exams. So each question comes with an option of being auto-graded or ungraded. So when you get a chance, you're going to want to check out our FRQ Center. If you go to resources on our website, if you go up to resources and APCSA FRQ Center, but if you go to our resource hub, which is my favorite place on CodeHS. If you scroll down, you'll actually see where it will bring up the FRQ Center. And right here we have FRQ Center. You can visit the FRQ Center. And when you go to the FRQ Center, you're going to see that we have a lot of different options where we've got the questions. You can download the questions. You can download scoring guides. You can assign it to your class. You can try it. You can see that we have it curated from 2013 to 2019, and the 2022 FRQs are going to be added soon also. So we will be updating those FRQs to everything that is available. As soon as we have all of those in line, you will see those. CodeHS also has practices. So from your dashboard, if you go to the top menu items, you can click on practices, and it's a curated list of practice problems to help students gain a stronger understanding of the basic programming skills. They are auto-graded. And the other thing is that we've got practices in all different kind of languages. So when you go to your practices, you'll just want to specify that you are looking at the Java language for the students to be able to practice using those practice problems. We also have a textbook. Again, you can get all of this stuff from our resource hub. That's the easiest way to get to the items, these resource items. Our Java textbook is designed to follow the APCSA content and aligns with our Nitro course. It has interactive features that allow students to read through the content, run live samples, and complete exercises. So you can get to the interactive textbook through the APCSA hub. A real quick overview of the APCSA exam, just so that you are aware of what's included in that. The APCSA exam is broken into two parts, multiple choice and free response, and it's basically a 50-50 for the total exam score and takes up the same amount of time during the exam. For the multiple choice section of the exam, students are going to be asked 40 Java related questions. And as you can see here, there are several topics that are covered in the multiple choice, and the percentages don't actually add up to 100 because if you later on, if you're using something, you're going to still use things like loops and conditional statements and variables. So all of those things kind of, you can see that they tend to get used more often. So it's not broken down into just this specific type of question. Those are used multiple times. So you can see though where the iterations and the Booleans, the arrays are higher. So the students are really going to have to focus in on making sure that they understand those concepts. In contrast to the multiple choice section, the FRQ is intended to test the student's ability to solve problems with extended reasoning. So the FRQ questions are now topic specific. So before we wouldn't know what the questions were going to cover as far as topics, now we do. So FRQ1 is going to be over methods and control structures. The second question is going to have something to do with classes. The third is going to be array and array list, and the fourth is going to be 2D array. And so you can see that the students are never going to have to write code for some topics like recursion. They need to understand it, but they're not going to have to write it. So it's good to share that with your students of what types of questions that they're going to see on the FRQs. Also, as you can see here, the free response questions require students to take knowledge of the Java concept and write out an entire solution to the algorithm. And when using the FRQs that we provide, or the past ones used by the College Board, it's actually good to have the students take some time to make sure that they handwrite code, because that's what they're going to have to do on the test. Now, the reason that I'm bringing some of this stuff up to you right now is because it's good to start to get students writing code early, and this is why. Whether it has anything to do with an FRQ, just simply writing any type of code from the very beginning is really nice to do. And also knowing that from the very beginning, you can start integrating some parts of the FRQs into your curriculum and have students start to look at free responses, start looking at grading other ones. It's important for the students to understand the time that's allowed too. So some of these problems are really long, but students really only have about 20 minutes per problem. So you'll need to work with them on understanding their pacing. Also, important for students to understand how they're going to be graded. So there is a scoring guideline that's provided. So working and looking at those from the very beginning is kind of helpful so that the students understand where they're going in the end. Also, there is it's good that the students eventually know. I'm not going to suggest it from the beginning, but right before they take the test, it's interesting for them to know that syntax isn't near as important. But I would hold that off and not put that at the beginning of the year, and wait to show this to their resource that they're going to be having of what's going to be counted and what's not going to be counted against them. So preparing your students for the exam, just real quick touch, because I think it's still good to know at the beginning of the year some of the things that the students have available to them to be prepared for the test, because you can integrate those in throughout the whole semester / year. And so although the test isn't until spring, let's take a look. We've got the AP review on CodeHS, and you also have the classroom. So let me just do a real quick touch on what we have available for that. First of all, the CodeHS review material. We do have exam and review problems. There is a review course. So if you take a look at our course catalog, you'll see that there is actually a review course, and those courses give quizzes and some few practices problems that the students can work through in the review course. You can add those into your course for CodeHS, or you can actually have students enroll in a review course. If you want to take a look at the practice exam and review problems, you can take a look at that link that was thrown into chat, and that will take you to the overview of the review course. And so you're going to see something like this, where you can see what it actually has available in it, and you'll notice that it follows right along with the Nitro course. AP Classroom, this is on the College Board site. And again, mainly to reiterate that you can use both of these resources. They have some great resources. You want to use those resources. And what's really nice is it's just seamless to use with CodeHS because those units are parallel with each other. So they are directly the same. Unit 1 is Unit 1 in CodeHS. AP Classroom also has AP videos that can be used to help reinforce topics. So if those videos are very good for review, or maybe an introductory, if however you want to use those. So those are available to you also. If a student needs to review and they're a little bit have a deficit in one area, you could use the AP Classroom videos and have the student listen to those videos to be able to kind of use those. They're usually about 8 minutes long, and you can actually assign those to the student through the AP Classroom. AP Classroom also has progress checks and quizzes, and so you can create your own assessments or follow pre-created progress checks. Again, these are all the things that are available on the AP Classroom, which kind of remind you of, yes, we've got to get our audit done and we've got to get the students signed up for the test so that they can have access to all of this stuff. So as we start to wrap up here, let's take a look at the key dates. Student enrollment deadline is November 15th. The course audit deadline is January 31st, but we want to get that in earlier so we can have access to everything. Mid-April is when you should finish your CodeHS course, and then May 3rd is the exam itself. Now, again, as we wrap up, if you have any questions at all, please throw those into the chat or throw those into the Q&A. We'll answer those before we get off of here. But as we are starting to wind up, we do have some upcoming webinars that you may be interested in also. We have a Getting Started with CodeHS. That one's going to be September 8th. We have an APCSP. So for those of you who are teaching APCSA and P, we've got the same type of information that we are going to provide on September 28th. And then we also have a cool little webinar, how to use CodeHS for blended learning, which is a great webinar that you may want to join us on October 4th. You can get to all of our webinars on codehs.com/webinars, and I believe that that has been thrown into chat also. Some resources that we also have available if you are interested in getting codehs.com and you would like to learn some more information about CodeHS, you can go to codehs.com/learn more. We also have a certified educator program. We have all kinds of social media stuff you can follow. We have a Slack community. You can actually learn or earn micro credentials. And so those have been thrown into chat. If you're interested in any of those programs, please make sure that you visit those and we can get you some information. And I want to thank everyone for coming to the webinar. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we wish you the best year. We're going to be having a spring webinar, I believe, that helps us to kind of finalize and get ready for how to get students ready for the exam and kind of go over that stuff. So be looking for that in the spring from us too. So we appreciate everyone coming. Thank you.